Please settle down, everyone. We will continue with the event shortly. Welcome back, everyone. I hope you had a refreshing break. We would now like to extend our heartfelt gratitude to our outreach partners, Mr. Sai Charan Mahapatro and Mr. P. Sai Pawan, who played a crucial role in the success of this event. Their efforts went far beyond outreach. They helped us connect with the right audience, individuals who truly resonated with the vision and spirit of this initiative. Through their dedication, commitment, and consistent of efforts, they ensured that we reached like-minded people who added immense value to today's gathering. Their contribution has been instrumental in shaping the impact of this event, and it truly would not have been the same without their support. We are deeply grateful for their time, effort, and belief in our cause. To honor and acknowledge their valuable contribution, I would now like to invite Ms. Riya Shah and Ms. Akansha Tambre to please come forward and felicitate Mr. Pawan and Mr. Saicharan. Pawan or Saicharan? As we step into the second half of Epicenter 2026, it's been encouraging to see the energy, curiosity, and conversation building through the day so far. The insights shared this morning have already given us a lot to reflect on, and we now carry that momentum forward. We now move to our next panel discussion, Building Momentum, the compound effect of early startup choices. This session focuses on how early decisions around capital, partnerships, strategy, and execution quietly compound over time to shape the trajectory of a startup. We are pleased to have with us two leaders who bring strong perspective from both the investor and venture building sides of the ecosystem. Mr. Ratnakar Samavedam sir is a seasoned angel investor and ecosystem builder, currently serving as the investment director and CEO of Hyderabad Angels and managing partner at HAF VC. With over 2 decades of experience across venture capital, banking, and corporate finance, he has led numerous early stage investments and exits across sectors such as deep tech AI, fintech, SaaS, and consumer technology. Ratnakar so works closely with founders from early stages, helping them make disciplined decisions around capital, governance, and scaled, offering a clear lens on how fundamentals create lasting momentum. May I invite Mr. Piyush, partner at EPIC, to felicitate Mr. Ratnakar sir. Mr. Suresh Narsimha is a deep tech entrepreneur, investor, and the founder and co creator of Co Create Ventures, where he partners closely with founders to build patents, execution driven businesses. With decades of experience spanning venture creation, campus focused investing, and technology commercialization, he has helped incubate and support numerous startups emerging from academic and research ecosystem. His perspective emphasizes identifying real problems early, building patiently, and making foundational choices that allow ventures to scale quietly but sustainably. I now invite Mr. Vaibhav, Senior Partner at EPIC, to felicitate Mr. Suresh Narsimha. This panel discussion will be moderated by Mr. Akshat, partner at EPIC, and Ms. Meghna, junior partner at EPIC, who will guide the conversation and bring together diverse perspectives through an engaging discussion. With that, I invite our panelists and moderators to take their seats as we begin with the discussion.
So, good afternoon, everyone, and hello to our panelists. I, Meghna Rana,
Makshat.
we welcome you to the second panel discussion of the day. And the topic of our discussion is Building Momentum, the Compound Effect of Early Startup Choices. Our discussion is going to revolve around venture capital, and we will explore through the real life experiences, startup failures, success, and patterns of the startups. So before starting, I want our audience to be all ears because somehow I feel everyone here is either interested or related to entrepreneurship, startup, or business in general. So by the end of the conversation, you all will have an understanding of how a VC works, how an investor thinks, and how small early choices in startups can impact long term decisions. So, without further ado, let's start with our first question. So, sir, as most of our audience are students, so can you brief us all about how venture capital plays a role in startup journey and what investment philosophies guides your decision as a VC?
Okay. Before I answer, how many of you are entrepreneurs here? Are there any entrepreneurs here? One, two, three, four. Okay, okay. I just wanted to. Right. So, hope you know about how the VC works, right? So, but just to summarize this, a VC is someone who takes money from a lot of high net worth individuals, invests them judiciously into startups that have high growth potential, and whenever startups give returns through exit or whatever the mechanism, he will take that money, distribute it back to the HNIs, and in that he will retain the profit, right? So the reason why I'm saying is, it's not that, in fact, even in the morning, Ashwin mentioned that VCs are investors. They are not the sole decision makers. Of course, they are the fundamentally they carry a lot of weight, etc. But they are taking decision on behalf of other investors, A, and they are answerable to a lot more people. There is an IC, there is a thesis, there is a there are regulatory authorities to which we have mentioned how we are investing, etc. So all the decisions are bound by certain conditions, right? Is what you need to understand. Now the question in terms of if you just go and look into the market, right? Can you build a startup without the VC? You will, right? In fact, there are enough examples that we have where people, without taking money from the VC, they have built it, right? But can you build a venture scale or high scale startups or potential unicorns without VC money? Maybe, right? The probability is very, very low. But the best route, historically, or if you just go and look at what has happened in last 30, 40 years, best chance to build amazing companies is by partnering with right set of investors, because capital gives you the time advantage, which is extremely essential for a lot of startups, right? That's how the venture ecosystem has been built. Any specific thing, additional stuff that you wanted me to cover?
Sir, I wanted to know the philosophy behind it, like how you guide decisions in a VC.
How we
How you
guide
guide.
our decisions, right? So I will see. I mean, all of you are MBAs, right? Most of you think it's a data, it's science, but I can assure you that it's 60-70% art, right? That's what most of the VCs, right? In fact, you should just go and listen to a wonderful interview of Vinod Khosla on Twitter that came up just few days back, right? So I mean, this is what I tell all my startups who are looking for first round. Normally, a VC will decide whether to fund you or not in the first 10 seconds or probably 1 minute, right? He will take a decision if he wants to fund. Rest of the 3 to 6 months of process of working with analysts is to find the reasons to reject you, right? So, I mean, conviction will never get better, right? Conviction will only reduce, right? To identify risk, right? I have decided that I want to back this entrepreneur, but tell me what are the reasons why I should not back this entrepreneur, right? That's how the decision is making, right? So, you need to, and he has, I mean, for him, the decision depends on his thesis, what he has experience in terms of what companies can work, right? Uh, that's the basis on which he will get into a gut feel, and then rest of the discussions, processes, follow-up discussions, Q&A, etc., all those things to see how he can reject you, right? Because you remember, I mean, any fund, I mean, when I say I'm doing 20 investments in a year, people are surprised, right? How can you even do this, right? So that's what we do, because a fund normally invests in on an average of 5, 6 companies in a year, right? So, and for that, probably they will look at 5,000, 6,000 applications, right? So, he has lot to choose from, and that's how he operates, right? And the decision making is very simple, yeah. With the money that I get in, right? With the money that I get in, right? I mean, yeah, I mean, will this company be able to? What is the path for this company to get an exit, or what is the path for this company to go and raise their next capital, next round of capital? If I find answer to that convincingly, then I will go ahead with this. Rest of it is very subjective.
So, Suresh, here, just to your point, uh, there is PE, private equity, which looks for long-term investment. Means they come at when you reach 100 crores and there is a path for 500 crores and go for an IPO. VCs are the people who want to take early stage bets where they want to see 100x return on their investments. Two things have happened. One is prior to 2010, a regular business used to take at least 20 years to build and scale. Now the economic cycle have been changed. The economic cycle came to 4 to 5 years because of the technological advancement and changes. We ourselves in last decade we have seen a great change in Indian economy, right? Now what American economy brought to India is, now the economy is changing, the faster acceptance has to happen and the scale used to happen. Within 10 years, just imagine a Zomato can build in 12 years, and today Deependra is one of the prominent person in the Baiju Ravindran lost in the game, but he came up. It is only possible because there is a money chasing you. Today I feel sir the path on the road is not very difficult. If the path is clear, the funding will come. It is in fast and furious, it is a nitrogen engine, just plug the investor money and push it 300 kilometers. That's an expectation of the VC today. Don't assume VCs will come, we will invest in money, you will experiment something. That is not the scenario. They are only looking somebody who can scale at least 100 crores revenue in next 5 to 7 years. That's an intent of the VC. And what are all other things? That is a process we follow. We have the responsibility. We have to deliver. But the word VC, venture capitalist, came because of this. They wanted to speed in the process instead of turning profitable, growing slowly, understanding people. That is not the VC intake. The original intent, what you asked, that is the intent. Business and scale. We need scale and speed. Business scale and speed is the key criteria for VC to invest in your startup. That's all the thing which I can say.
In fact, I should say a quote which my mentor had said, right? So, if you think money works for you, go and take that money. But if there is a risk that you are working for that money, then don't take that money, right? Is what the criteria is, right? So, you need to be absolutely be clear whenever you raise capital, right? All that I need is money to get the scale up, which means a lot of equations are figured out, right? What you need is money. That's where you should go and raise aggressively, and that's where you will see the returns, right? And if you don't have clarity in terms of how you will get to 100 crore, the number that he used, right? So if you don't have the clarity in terms of how do you get to 100 crore, probably you need to recalibrate how you raise finances, etc.
For Thank you for that answer, sir. Coming to the next question, you both have invested and mentored a lot of startups till now from your respective firms, Hyderabad Angels and Co-Create Ventures. I want to know, these days, these budding founders have a very intriguing question in their mind that whether they should wait for the perfect moment, perfect idea, and the perfect time to launch their venture, any venture. If they are an entrepreneur, they're always looking for new opportunities. So should they wait for the perfect time, perfect idea, or whether they should start building executional capabilities in an already buzzing market and get it going? What do you think about this?
So, we don't want people to build startups for raising money. Please be clear. One of the thing when I interview many of the founders, sir, I want to raise money. I started the startup. Paisa nahi aaya tha, I will not do the business. What is the worry we have? As a founder, you have a vision. You have a problem statement. You know the solution. You know your target customers. We want that vision to be delivered. In the process of vision getting delivered, you need money. Understood, right? We don't want people to come and say, sir, I want money, I want money. Money is secondary, but money is a need to scale your business faster. But if you come and say, we see many startup founders coming and say, we started, sir, isko funding milega kya, then I can raise. I said, what is the purpose of startup? To raise money? No, right? You are all here to build your business, your name. And you are leaving two things in your life. Any entrepreneur is leaving. One is time, one is their comfort. Because I always say, Suresh here, if you are an employee in an IT company today, you do 5-day week, 3 days to office, happy weekend, holidays, no botheration. Does entrepreneurs has no Saturday, no Sunday, they have to work 14 hours a day? Their mind, I will tell you one of the key problem in 90 plus investments which we did, more than 70 plus investment, founder has sleeping problem. They don't know how to sleep. And even if they sleep also, they are thinking about startup. Next month, today's Jan 31st, no, this problem starts. How to pay salary? Biggest challenge for many of them. I said the entrepreneurship is the most paining thing. But if you achieve your desired target on the desired thing, you are the most successful celebrity in this industry.
Okay, I mean, a slightly different answer than what you have, right? So I want to answer this from two perspectives: generic entrepreneurship and the students, right? So I believe a lot of them are students, right? I mean, answering your questions on idea and startups, right? So there are two things which are important here. The biggest problem with startups is that people don't start up, right? So that's the most of them will never start up is the challenge, right? And easiest time for you guys to start something is now, right? As students, today your entry barrier to becoming an entrepreneur is the lowest, right? And more time you spend, that barrier will only increase, right? So best opportunity for you is to build something when you are in campus. What's the worst thing that can happen if you build something in the campus, right? This is what I will always ask students. You will only get a better salary, right, when you pass out, right? So because you will fail right? Your resume still has the fact that you built something and launched it when you were in the campus, and there are enough founders available there who are looking to hire you at a premium salary. Just go and look for failed founder in LinkedIn, right? You will be amazed to see the number of choices you get. And no one will say I'm a failed lover, right? No one will say I'm a failed ashiki, but they are saying failed founder. The reason why failed founders are an extremely attractive assets in the job market today. So from the student's perspective, I would suggest the least that you can do is start something in the campus, whatever it is, right? Better the idea, that's always good, right? That's a different issue. But this is your safest time to start something, right? As I said, and especially for MBAs, right? After you leave this, you already have debt of 25, 30 lakhs on your head, right? By the time you leave, right? And then you need to, you are already 25, 26, you are forced to marry, then you will have kids. Your life is a mess here, right? After 20 years, you want to come back and start a biryani shop in some corner because you got frustrated in the corporate. Don't wait for 25 years. If you want to do a biryani startup, do it today, right? At least you have friends who will like you or who will say this one, right? This is one point that I want to tell you, right? And second one, coming to the idea and your specific question in terms of idea and timing, right? Timing is the most important thing for the idea, right? That's very well understood. But if your idea doesn't work for the today, right? Probably that will not work for the future, right? So this is what I've seen, right? Because if you think you are holding back the idea because let the right time comes, I'll start that, it will not happen. Because if you think the idea doesn't work today, drop it and then think of something better. That's how it works, right? So, but my guess for the students, right? If someone who is at 30 comes to me and asks me, my answer is very, very different. I will be a lot more cautious and I will tell them why the hell you should become an entrepreneur who is waiting for you to. That's what I will say. Unless you have a real reason to become an entrepreneur, you should not. Unless you have something which is rock solid, no point in you becoming an entrepreneur. But as students, this is the best career hack that you can have. As I said, before you leave the campus, if you have a startup, least you get is a better salary. I'm sure you don't mind that. And by the way, right, having startup in campuses is pretty cool, and that's a much better chance to date, right? So I can give you enough examples of that.
Thank you, sir.
So thank you, sir, for being so candid. Moving forward, looking back at your impeccable exits, what type of startup decisions and patterns can you identify that creates long-term momentum and which turns into constraints later? Constant, like
I think, again, some of these things are not the science, right? So, in fact, it's very, very hard for entrepreneur to not believe in God, right? Because of these reasons, right? So, it's not so much of science, right? Of course, your fundamentals have to be rock solid. I used to say this, right? Best opportunity for a founder, right? You can't chase a success. You can only do all the right things, right? You need to pick up the right market. You need to pick up the right product. You need to have the right attitude. You need to have the right team, etc., etc. You can do all those things, right? But if you know the problem that you are solving, right? You really get connected with this, and it's a problem which is worth solving, right? Then you are in the right path. But you need to understand, you need to have the humility to that. There are 20 people who are trying to solve this right problem and their approach may be better than you or the market may look different, right? So then, you also have this one, right? So then, is it worthwhile pivoting, etc.? There are a lot of things that you will face before you get the success. All that I suggest is, pick up a problem that you are passionate about. If it is worth solving, you will put your energy behind it. You do all the right things, right? Pick up the right market, pick up the right team, right? So work harder, right? Get right partners, raise right capital, etc. All those things you do. But it all starts with the problem that you are picking up, is it interesting enough, right? And again, we always say one more thing, right? So before product market fit, right? I always insist on founder idea match, right? Founder idea fit, right? So as a founder, if your aspiration is to build a unicorn, right? So you can take a position that if I don't build a unicorn, I will not build a company, right? So we know a few entrepreneurs who are like that, right? So I will drop something, I will do whatever it is till I get to that North Star. I'm not saying that's right or wrong, right? So if that is your objective, then you need to constantly pick up products and pick up ideas and directions from that perspective. If as an entrepreneur you are driven by the purpose, then you need to and you need to compromise on I'm trying to address this purpose. Even if I build a lifestyle business which addresses that purpose, I'm okay, right? So it fundamentally depends on what's the entrepreneur, right? What's his objective in life, and what kind of ideas that he picks up which matches that, right? So you can't think of becoming a unicorn when you have picked up something which is very, very small. That's where it all gets into.
So on the point of exits, we have very interesting stories because we invested in 90 startups. We have around 20 exits have happened. One of the key thing we observed is when we invested from Hyderabad, because you are all coming from Vizag, we have seen Hyderabad startup ecosystem. Bangalore was way ahead in terms of startups and funding. We observed because the competition at macro level, at local regional level, we may be a leader, either in Vizag and Hyderabad. But once you move from Hyderabad to other regions, they've seen huge competition coming into play. What we found is the cost of acquisition of the customer in a competitive environment is more expensive than a cost of customer acquisition, which is non-competitive environment like Hyderabad. So we suggested many of the founders, you go and hit competitor, very strong, they will come and acquire. We have 6 acquisitions in that matter. Because we said competitor has to be hit, he will understand this guy is eating me, I want to acquire. So we have seen that. Second, we have seen large funds coming and investing in some of our startups. They said the role of angel network or an angel is no more needed. I'm surprised that even they don't want to give information rights. We said if you don't want to give information rights, we don't want to play any role. We clearly said in Hyderabad Angels, we don't want to stay there, give an exit and we'll take the money, came out. That's what we did almost in 9 cases. Another 6, 7 cases, what really happened is, founder said, I grown enough, I don't see any VCs are going to invest in my company, I am making good money, I become a run of the mill, I'll do buyback. We did buyback for some of our startups. We agreed. Now the companies which have closed down, the question came on the closed down. We are requesting if somebody is not able to carry the startup as envisaged, not able to make money, not able to raise money also, I requested shut down. The person who carried without shutting down for a longer period has been more pain point to us as a VCs than a person who shut down. So in one of the key thing we learned in IIM Bangalore, I think somewhere they teach, we all should believe Shiva as a destroyer. So you have to destroy when you can't do it. But if you carry it, it is a pain for you, pain for VCs also. We requested when you start out shut down. They sent a mail, Ratnakar, we shut down. I am the happiest case because I have no need to answer any of the investors to say that. And that given a fresh lease of life to the founder to start something fresh, and they reduce their burden and they're doing extremely well as the second time and the third time founder for us. I request today most of the angels and VCs are okay if you are not able to carry and you are not able to take it forward, shut down the company. Don't carry, it is a pain, I'm telling you. This has been our experiences and some of them done well, people have stayed because they believed they will do much more returns for them actually.
In fact, I want to add one more suggestion based on the exit right here. I mean, I spoke about idea founder match, right? Another very, very important thing is, especially if you are trying to raise the capital, right? So, if the idea is to get the liquidity, right, and you understand your business, you want to exit out, right, or you know that it's a lifestyle, right? As an entrepreneur, you need to understand whether it's an acquirable business or is it going to become a super unicorn or is it a lifestyle business, right? If it is a lifestyle business, you need to go and take money from relevant guys, right? It's very, very important to choose the investors based on what direction that you want to take. If you want, for example, our fund, the focus is deep tech liquidity, right? How quickly we can help founder to get an exit, right? I mean, especially because we work with a lot of youngsters, etc., and the deep tech, etc., right? So, what is the kind of agility or the openness the fund has in terms of you getting an exit? right? Or for example, if you go to a fund who believes that each and every company that he gets into has to return at least, let's say, in fact, there are some of the large funds in India, they will not be happy with any outcome at less than $1 billion for there. Which is, you should have got an exit of $10 billion plus, right? So it's very, very important to align your purpose with the right kind of investors as much as right kind of ideas.
Right.
Okay. Sir, coming to shutting down, as you mentioned, there's a term in startups, and as Suresh sir might have known, it's called pivoting, right? What do you see in a startup that you think might be be nearing closing and shutting down? That you think that you should recommend them pivoting and push them towards pivoting? And what type of startups do you think that you should exit from and look for a way out?
See, generally, if you are doing well like Zomato and keep raising money, they pivoted. Deepender has pivoted very well, and there are many examples are there which they pivoted the business and grown well. You should know when to pivot, what kind of money is needed. When somebody is getting down and I want to pivot him, we have to invest. The biggest challenge it's in the house also and the investor because we are married to him, right? As a startup founder, I feel this fellow cannot do. Even if you come and ask me, sir, I want to pivot the business, I need another 2 crores. Will you all invest? I'll tell you, 99.99% nobody will invest. That's the situation because they felt, he tried many things, nothing is working, and he wasted my money, and again he is coming and asking another 2 crores. Will not invest. We observed, maybe we were thinking, can we give a choice? Sir, why don't we invest further? But that's at Ratnagar, our chances of making that one guy who can pivot and grow, we can't take chance. Better he get out and start his own, let him do well. So we have one company called GetStan. Today we invested from the fund. Parth Chattar ran one company called EVAR in real money game. He tried, he said he will pivot. We said to get on EVAR and we said we will not fund him. Surprisingly, he went and started GetStan in Bangalore. Within 2 years, his top line went to $12 million, which surprised us a lot actually. Because he said all my past learnings I was able to build. But there are another 10 companies which they exited. All of them are either doing jobs, they started slow, they are not doing well. Who is that one? Today I can't identify as a VC or an investor, right? Correct, right? So that's a challenge which we felt, okay, if somebody is shutting down pivot, no. But somebody is doing well, we say market is changing, he has to change because I see like a Bahubali movie when war is going on, Prabhas and Rana is fighting each other. Suddenly one flag lifts. You have to change your strategy to go and hit. That portion we wanted to play as a VC. Arey Baba, you are going in this direction. There is a change in market. You have money in bank. Please rechange and hit the market in pivoting. In that case, we have seen 17 companies have done extremely well for us. And it took some time to convince, but once they convinced and pivoted, funding poured for them because of the initial success what they've seen. So it is a need, the timing, need, money, and other things will play a bigger role today. Until Suresh, you have anything to say?
Yeah. See, I think there are two important considerations: pivoting versus discovery, right? If you need to pivot, not the discover, right? You are always in a sticky wicket, right? Especially after you raise the money, right? Your raised money is based on certain promises, certain metrics. Now you are saying none of those metrics make sense. I want to restart. Look into this, right? So then the immediate reflection of that is next round of funding is going to be a lot more challenging, at least in terms of valuation, right? So, even ignoring current investors who are on the table, right? What is it, this one, etc., right? Your next round of funding is always challenging, and as a founder, you are working on a diminishing equity base, right? It's very, very hard to pivot after you raise money, right? Zomato or Snapdeal are an exception. They are exceptions because of two things. One is the founders who can raise money even in their wildest dreams, right? They can go and raise money, which is exceptional quality, right? And they were lucky, they had the right set of advisors around them, etc., which is exception, right? And second one, those bets were on the business, right? Not on the product idea, etc., right? I want to go and take that. I want to go and control the food business in India, right? I mean, for example, the bid is on the overall industry, right? Then you know that you have done, in fact, just to tell you, there were 15 experiments Zomato has picked up, right? And I mean, he has figured out 15 revenue models he had filed, right? I mean, because sometimes, right, he was also competing with some other companies that we have, etc., right? So that's an exceptional quality. You need lot of luck, right, and lot of things need to right. So to say that I will pivot after you raise the capital is never going to be a right strategy. And I would anyone my default recommendation is what he said: close down, do a fresh start. Right, that's much better because you are at least starting from a right.
Sir, looking more broadly of the ecosystem, which domains with the startup ecosystem do you feel remain relatively unexplored and undeserved today? Underserved, sorry. I'm so sorry.
I think it's very, very hard to look at, right? So, I mean, we used to probably last year it would have been easier. The answer would have been deep tech last year if you had asked me. This year, more money chasing deep tech than any other domain, right? So, I mean, at least.
I'll give you my perspective on it. As you said, now anyway, people are investing in space tech, robotics, which is an AI, which is very common. And one of the key, we are asking many startups to look at clean tech and sustainability. And we have seen, we were asking, somebody can take care of shoes. The number of shoes are increasing at home. Can you recycle? Somebody can take care of textiles. There are a lot of textiles are coming in place. We are not finding solutions. People have came with plantation getting modified, coming with something, but not on textile play. Then we also see a lot of old furniture is there. People are aspirational to move forward in the life. That's what we are observing, why people are not coming with the thought process. So clean tech is one area. Again in fintech, we have seen a lot of tailwinds because regulatory issues has come in. But how do you overcome regulatory issues and coming with the compliance and taking it forward? We have seen certain issues, but we feel there is a larger play there. Still logistic long way to go, and entire system is working because they said metros have done enough. All the 6 or 7 metros have done enough. Now real innovations, because most of the benefits which metros have benefited because of the startup ecosystem, the tier 2, tier 3 cities has a lot more problems to be solved. How is that you can do? We are asking, how can you demolish old buildings and construct a new one with lesser money? In India, that is a need of the hour, right? How do you come? This is all right. We were asking many questions on this area. Can somebody can do? Can somebody can take it forward? And a lot of aspects are there in deep tech. Also healthcare, genomics. Just now he was telling Ashwin in the morning, they're coming with something for liver also. So there is a way, there is a challenge. There are a lot of opportunities in this segment which we wanted to go and tackle because enough of convenience and comfort. Olas of the world, Uber of the world, Amazons of the world, Zepto of the world, they all covered your convenience. And comfort came from Nikas of the world, Wakefit of the world, Sleepwell, whatever you name it, the home, right? Live space, all that. So the convenience and comfort to a large extent taken care. There is one question in the morning, what is that we have? Now people are saying the soft shell is done, let us go for hard. On animal husbandry, we have to get a lot more startups. We are not able to see a lot more in that segment actually. There is a larger scope for India to do well actually. Right? So opportunities are there, tailwinds are there. Now India is ready to wait for 10 years for the fund. Around a decade back, everybody was looking for 5 years. For deep tech, they need 10 to 12 years to see real light. That's the reason of RDF fund came. They are saying from TRL 4 to TRL 10. And they're saying it will take 12 years for somebody to see real money and exit, and patents are going to do well. There is a bigger opportunity coming in that space. Because we speak deep tech, I don't know how many really understand. It has a lot more insights, Lot of things to be done. Entry barriers are tough, and you should be ready. I was telling some of the founders meeting outside, are you ready to spend 10 years to see real outcome? And today, children, I think students are not ready. They just want overnight millionaires. Please, nobody has become overnight millionaires here. It has taken, we have one simple principle 8 year, 12 year, 16 year, and 20 year. This is a simple principle if you keep in mind. 8 years you will slog, 8 to 12th year you become more mature, 12 to 16th year you make money, 16th year onwards you will impact society and you become a billionaire. If you are ready with that thought process, you can do well. If you are not ready, I wanted to become in 4 years, I want to become a Zomato, it is very difficult. We are not funding actually. Most of the VCs said we are enough, done of convenience and comfort. That is where we are.
Right, I mean, I want to again take it in two things, right? One is if you are an entrepreneur, right? If you are building really interesting companies around deep tech, right? Interdisciplinary innovations, deep tech, AI, clean tech, right? There are enough funds who are sitting on money who are struggling to deploy because there are no good companies, right? So, in fact, clean tech, the biggest challenge is where are you getting the deal flow? That's where the problem, right? If you are an entrepreneur who are building something very, very interesting in these spaces, there are enough capital available and it's a high time you go and build it, right? So interdisciplinary innovation, which involves deep tech, right? Some very, very solid verticalized AI, right? So some of these aspects. But from the fund, I think I'll pick up two areas where I think it's underserved. One is I think Web3 we have almost ignored, we have almost forgotten, right, in this country, right? Even in the colleges, I hardly see any activity around Web3 and I think it's going to come back one way or the other, right? So this one Web3. And second one probably he did mention, right? Regulatory tech with with lot of free trade agreements happening across the board between India, US, India, this one, etc. There is a great opportunity to build several regulatory tech startups around supply chain, around legal due diligence, etc. These are the two areas in which, I mean, the funds, that's a real opportunity. But for the entrepreneurs, I think pick up, of course, he did say, convenience, Me Too startups, I think that era is over, right? Today, if you want to build something, you need to build something which can compete globally, which can sustain globally, right? The challenges of building a company is a lot more harder, but if you can think of a decent enough idea and show some efforts towards building that, there is enough money chasing you, right? In fact, the problem here is, at least at the early stage, lot of money, right? And few small deals, right? So that's where the challenge is.
One of the challenge I can give, my son wants washing machine to give ironed clothes out.
Yeah.
So there was a question I was telling, man has needs will never end. It will keep on growing, right? You want to build something or I said, please try. We are happy to fund Gargabola.
So in fact, even from the career perspective, I just want to start where stop where this one, right? There is, what is the skill set that make your career safer for tomorrow is the question that I keep getting asked, right? Is it programming, is it managerial skills, is it the communication skills, etc.? For me, there is only one answer here. You become a problem solver, you know how to solve a problem, identify and solve a problem. There is always an opportunity for that. And the best way to prove that you are a problem solver is by building a startup when you are in campus. That's where I want to come back.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for this discussion. We discovered a lot of the topic really well, different domains and how risk and resilience really affect long-term momentum for startups. Now we would like to open the floor for questions and answers. You can ask any questions to our guests. We can start now.
Sir, I'm Ikshwak. I have two questions. The first thing is from investors' perspective, will there be any difference if the founder is from IIM or Geetam or MBJ or any college? Will there be any difference? That's the first question. Second question is from your answer, sir. Exit is really important for a startup. But what are the major points we should consider before we exit? Why should we exit? And continuing this, in 2014, when Big Basket is going really slow, there are many mushroom startups for e-commerce and groceries. Nobody sustained. Everyone closed. Blinkit sustained. Now it got acquired by Zomato, even though they both are friends. But sometimes if we continue in later after 10 years, 11 years, we may get acquired, right? So what are the major points we should consider before we exit? Thank you.
On exit, okay. One of the key thing, I don't know about Suresh Garu, we don't look at a degree as a base. One of the key thing industry has identified is somebody is coming from IITs, I think top 5, 6 IITs. Their ecosystem is so different compared to other IITs like IIT Tirupati, or I've seen some of them. They are not picked up because the ecosystem takes time to pick up. They have done extremely well. So if I want to bet somebody out of 10 startups in IIT Kharagpur, IIT Bombay, IIT Delhi, my chance of success is 8. If my IIT Tirupati out of 10, my chance is only 1, I don't go there. It's very simple. It doesn't matter. But the objective is where from where success is coming. Today, if you look into the metrics given by the many things, is people who came from Apple, people who came from McKinsey, people who came from XYZ industry like Zomato's, that INC 42 publishes the euphoria of people coming from various unicorns. They are building another unicorns because they've seen the unicorn. That's where many funds are investing in second time founders or the founders who came from the existing unicorn companies because they see success. Money chases money at the end of the day. As a founder, you have no exit. Please understand. The exit is for investors. Until as you decided, I can't and I wanted to sell is a different story. Exit is a opportunity comes in future based on various factors. Though we calculate 100 things, in exit nothing will work. World is very difficult. We don't know what, nobody expected COVID. And in COVID, I lost around 7 companies because they are very offline mode. They're unable to turn overnight online. They could shut down the shop. And today, complete online will not work. You have a combination of online and offline. And complete marketplace like Zomato, Zepto will not work. We need to have Zomato, Zepto, and your own website. There are the metrics are keep on changing for us on the exit parameters and valuation parameters is coming together. This is what we observed. Exit is subjective. It is no more a clear science and path. Only thing is now Indian SEBI has opened up IPOs for startups. That is a very positive angle for us.
Okay, I mean to answer your question, right? Because this I work with a lot of student startups and then have seen how the startups have raised the money, right? I want to answer your specific questions around major IITs compared to other colleges, right? See, I think the reality is this here, right? It's like if you are a top 200 JE ranker, there is something which you are already bringing to the table, right? There is an established trust in you that you are a smart guy, right? And invariably you are this one, you are a smart guy, right? So if you are not from IIT, it's just that you need to show more traction, right? That's where, I mean, it's not that someone will reject you because you are not from IIT, but the fact is that because I'm evaluating you as a founder, your ability, it's just that you need to show more traction, right? If you are not from one of those premium colleges, but I can tell you that generally any investor or even acquirers would love the fact that a youngster from the second tier college, right, or even for that matter, rural India has come up and built a startup, then there is a lot more positive affirmation, right? It's like once you have the traction, you are probably better than many others, right? That's the first point. And second one, I think, see, from an entrepreneur perspective, why do you want to go and redo the same stuff that while there are opportunities to build something, with the example that you were he was telling you, right? You can build something in Visakhapatnam and make sure that for Zomato to get into this country, this place, they will acquire you, right? Well, you can have those theories. You need to know that your end goal is always exit from them, which may or may not happen, which is a lot more riskier. My suggestion to you guys is pick a lot more niche, right? So niche, right? You should build something which Zomato wants to acquire you not just because of the business that you have got or because fundamentally you have cracked something, right? That's where identifying the right problem to solve becomes important. My suggestion to you is always go either pick up a fresh area, right? So unexplored area. Or if you want to get into the same space, pick up very, very niche problem that no one is able to solve or no one is looking into, right? That's what I would always recommend.
There is one more question there.
So I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
So what is your take on sports tech and sports science-based startups, the future prospects?
We are investing now. We are very positive and optimistic on that side. But again, sports tech is more related on bioinformatics and how we are improving the sports. Only one thing people said is if Olympics is being done in India, India is only participating in 11 sports, 11 to 12 sports in Olympics. But if Olympics gets hosted in India, there are 45 sports which happens in Olympics we can participate. And Modi is of clear vision that 2036 he wanted to bid for Olympics. Now all the countries are supporting India to do Olympics in India. And the vision from government document is very clear. Somebody between age group of 11 to 17 will be chosen for winning more medals in 2036 Olympics. And he is going to pour lots of money and many corporates are willing to put. I think recently Dream11 founder raised 410 crores, especially for this. JW has put separate fund. Gopichand is getting separate fund. We are seeing good amount of tailwinds in sports tech, good opportunity to get in.
So again, the challenge that I see here in the sports tech is, right? So it's like clean tech, right? That's, I mean, in terms of the domain. In terms of few technology, scalable venture opportunities, there are very 2-3 areas, right? Bioinformatics, sports analytics, and probably rehab, right? There are very few areas in which you can build a company, and there are enough companies who are created already there. That's a challenge from the venture ecosystem perspective. But if you go to even a small city there, right, the sport infrastructure that is being put together, number of trainers that are coming up, etc., is huge, right? So as a business, right, if you want to build a lifestyle business in any of the towns, there is nothing better than sports infrastructure, in my opinion. But from the venture scale, there are very few companies that you can create, right? So that's the challenge. But if you really think you have something very, very unique, you are the winner because there are enough funds chasing you, right? As you were saying, I know at least 10 funds who are trying to chase sports tech and they are not getting the deal flow.
There is an opportunity.
So is there a possibility for a unicorn in sports tech?
Definitely in next 5 years.
Thank you.
I mean, all your IPL teams are more than unicorns here.
Sir.
Thank you. Hi, I'm Rishi. There's one tech that we haven't mentioned, agri-tech. So that's one problem that we are trying to solve in Vizag with an initiative called Agripreneurs. I'd like to understand your take on it and just mentioning something. The topic, compound effect, right? The book by Darren Hardy where he talks about how something as small as a habit can influence the success of a person. I think that subject is very nice. The topic is very nice that in terms of compound effect, a successful entrepreneur definitely needs something like a good habit, a good discipline. And three of us, we were sitting here just for talking about one problem, right? So when do we give up in terms of startups? So you have dealt with the topic very well, but my friend has a question that, so if I'm working, at that point of time, where do we give up, right? So if there are any parameters that you look at, I mean, of course, you mentioned that there are several parameters depending on the industry, context, and all of that. But if there are few tips that you can give that as a startup, you need to give up at some point. So agri-tech and this giving up point, if you can deal with it, please. Thank you.
Okay, I will tell you second one because I spent more time as an entrepreneur and then dropped more ideas. So then this one. See, agri-tech, I think, again, lot of funds, lot of focus area was there, but I think none of the companies are able to, most of the companies are not able to mature beyond government grants, right? So very, very hard to build companies, but those who are built are really built. But at least as a fund, we have decided to stay away from agricultural because, I mean, Ashwin was talking about it morning, right, during this discussion. Margins are very hard. margins are very hard, right? At the end of the day, you will end up becoming a trader, right? Most of the successful agro companies that we have seen have become traders, right? Irrespective of what dimension that you get to, right? But I think he's the right guy, right? And when do you want to start, right? So that's where I said, right? When you want to, sorry, when you want to kill, right? So thanks. I think one, I mean, all of us are taught to hustle around, right? Taught to be very, very patient, etc., right? If you see user metrics, if your users are not using your products now, right? Then if there with strategies you can improve the results by 30%, but you can't improve the results by 80%, yeah, right? So you look at your user metrics. If you think you are not getting those user metrics, my suggestion is just drop in and get to the next idea, right? Is I'm slightly lot more cutthroat when it comes to killing, right? Because I mean, this is again my personal experience, right? So as entrepreneurs, we have confirmation bias, right? So because we think we like ice cream, we want even we want to catch fish with an ice cream. That's how we think, right? Which is a very, very wrong attitude to get into. If you are not getting the user metrics, drop it today is what I would suggest.
So as a closing remark, because we have to stop, again we are coming back, they have put, ask any questions. Sir, on agri-tech, because I work with AIDNM, ICRISAT in Hyderabad, when we collectively discussed, one of the clear reason is farmer and politician. They both are killing agri-tech, whether you like or not. In village, farmer has to be paid upfront. My customer will never pay me upfront. Point number one. Second thing, even if you want to do something good in the village, the politics in village is far different. Even Garuda Aerospace, which we have seen now, a lot of drones are coming, but we have seen politics to a larger extent. Except Dihat has done something better. Why trading has worked better means there is nothing. Buy karo, sell karo. That is what Dihat, Ninja Cut and other things have done. Even today we have not seen that tailwinds are going around. Second thing, when you have to kill startup is if you are not making enough money. If at the end of the day you are not able to take home at least 2 lakh salary home and you are not growing even 1% year on year, last 3 years you are not able to do well and you are struggling to raise funds, the time is telling please kill the company, it is not working. That is a very simple match. First year, second year you've seen, third year it is happening, please kill it, don't carry it, it is a waste of time. No investor is coming around. Anyway, thank you.
Awesome. That is it, guys. I think. Thank you for the panel. Thank you for the discussion, sir.
Thank you to our incredible panelists for sharing such thoughtful and insightful perspective. As we move ahead, we would like to take a moment to acknowledge the organization that has played a pivotal role in making Epicenter 2026 possible. This year, we are proud to have EpiFunds as our title sponsor. EpiFunds represents a unique and powerful idea, one that brings together students, institutions, and the startup ecosystem to enable early stage entrepreneurship through belief, collaboration, and access. Their vision aligns seamlessly with the spirit of Epicenter and with this year's theme, Bold Minds, Boundless Horizons. To take us through the journey and vision behind EpiFunds, I invite Mr. Vaibhav and Mr. Ajay, senior partners at Epic. Over to you, Ajay and Vaibhav.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone. Good afternoon. Respected faculty members, distinguished guests, investors, founders, and my fellow students. Thank you so much for being a part of Epicenter 2026. On behalf of the entire team at Epifunds, we are proud to stand here as the title sponsor of this summit. Before anything else, we would like to sincerely thank IIM Visakhapatnam for its continued commitment to building entrepreneurial leaders and IIMV Field, the incubation and innovation arm of the institute, for creating platforms that go far beyond theory and into real-world execution. Epicenter is not just an event, it is an ecosystem in action. At Epifunds, our journey started with a simple but powerful observation. Startups are hungry, capital exists, but the bridge between the two is often missing. Across Andhra Pradesh and Telangana region, we saw early stage startups looking for capital beyond grants and incubators. At the same time, we saw local HNIs and angel investors who wanted to invest but lacked access to curated deal flows, preferred smaller ticket size, and needed support with due diligence, deal structuring, and legal execution. As a result, startups were focused to go to tier 1 cities for capital, while local capital struggled to find the right opportunities. Epifunds was created to solve exactly this problem. And to be very clear, Epifunds is not a venture capital fund. We are an angel network platform. Our role is to discover promising early stage startups, match them with the right investors, and facilitate the entire transaction from evaluation and due diligence to deal structuring, legal documentation, and fund flow. We operate as a discovery, matching, and transaction platform powered by a 20-member execution team supported by IIM alumni as directors and mentors and strengthened by legal, CA, and compliance partners. This is not a classroom exercise. In the past year alone, we have evaluated over 300 startup applications, worked closely with founders through 20 plus live consulting projects, organized ecosystem level events like Epicenter, and secured soft commitments of over 7 crores from HNIs across the region. But beyond numbers, what excites us most is the mindset shift we witnessed. And that brings me to my co speaker who will talk about the founder journey and why platforms like Epicenter and Epifunds matter so deeply.
Thank you, Ajay. One of the biggest myths around a startup is that successful founders look like a certain way, that you need to be a prodigy, a genius, or once in a generation personality. But the reality is far more grounded. Founders from diverse backgrounds, the most important trait is not brilliance, it is resilience. Building a startup means hearing no repeatedly. It means working without certainty. It means being willing to test, fail, learn, and try again. And even when a startup does not work out, the learning never fails. You become a journalist, you learn to sell, build, hire, negotiate, and decide. You gain clarity about what truly energizes you. This is why former founders are so highly valued because they have lived real decision making under uncertainty. At Epifunds, when we work with founders, we don't ask how big the market is. We ask, is the problem real and acute? Do a few users genuinely love the product? Is there a founder market fit? And most importantly, do you want to solve this problem for the next several years? Because a product loved by a few will always beat a product tolerated by many. This is also why Epifunds matters so much. Epifunds is not about polished pitches or perfect answers. It is about pressure testing ideas. Here, students think like investors, founders learn to defend assumptions, ideas meet execution. This is exactly how real startup ecosystems are built. And the credit for creating this environment goes to EPIC, IIMV Field, and the leadership and faculty of IIM Visakhapatnam. And a special mention of our favorite faculty, Javed sir, in guiding us in all steps. As the title sponsor, Epifunds is not here just to put our name on a banner. We are here to engage, we are here to mentor, we are here to collaborate. To the founders in the room, build with intent, not noise. To the investors and mentors, your experience can change trajectories. To the students, you don't need permission to start. When institutions, students, founders, and capital come together with the right intent, ecosystems are not just imagined, they are built. Once again, thank you to the IIM Visakhapatnam, IIMV Field, and the entire EPIC team for making Epicenter 2026 possible. We look forward to a day of bold ideas, meaningful conversation, and real execution. Thank you for being a part of Epicenter 2026 and looking forward to many more interactions. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, everyone.
Thank you, Ajay. Thank you, Vaibhav. Now I would like to invite Mr. Ajay and Mr. Vaibhav to felicitate Alumni Director of Epi Funds, Sahil Yadav. Please have a huge round of applause for him. Now, to break the momentum, we have planned something interesting for you guys. So, let's move to something a little more visual. It's a game called Guess the Logo. You will see a logo on the screen, no names, no hint, just the logo, and your job is to identify the brand behind it. Same rule applies here. No shouting out the answer, you'll just raise your hands and we'll pick you. And if you think you know it, we'll come to you and you say the answer. And correct answer means that you'll get a surprise from us. So, shall we start? Okay.
A little bit of enthu, guys. No, guys, you cannot shout answers, so you'll have to raise hands and then we'll pick someone and then you'll have to answer. This one is done, so now we'll have to move to the next one. Okay, you. No, it's
No.
wrong.
It's not zero there.
Kite.
So you were actually right, it's zero though. Our bad. Congratulations. Now, the third. Okay, you. Sorry? No. White. Yes, correct. Congratulations. Next. Ah, okay. Now this is getting tough. Yes, you, sir. Yes, correct. Next. Oh, sorry guys, you just lost one. Next. You're not supposed to say answers. Yes, ma'am. Correct. Congratulations. Next. You're not supposed to say answers. Yes, sir. Correct. Okay. You, sir. Yes. Correct. Next. This is relatively easy, guys. You, sir. Right. Yes. Physics wala. Correct. Congratulations to all the winners. Just one last one. You, ma'am. Last. Yes. Correct. Congratulations to all the winners. We'll be handing you all the goodies and the surprises later.
I hope you enjoyed this game. So let's level up. And the next game we have is called Guess the Company. We will give you a short clue about how well a well-known Indian startup began, and not where it is today, and but how it actually started. And you just listen carefully, connect the dots, and once again, do not shout the answers. Raise your hand if you know it, and we'll pick someone to respond. Get it right, and we have a surprise for you after this. And let's see who here really knows the stories behind the logos. Here is the first clue. Which Indian startup started as an online bookstore before expanding?
Amazon, no. Sir, yes, correct. Sorry, sir? The answer is Flipkart. Which startup initially focused only on food discovery, not delivery? The last row, yes. Yes, the correct answer is Zomato. Congratulations.
Which company started as a mobile recharge platform?
You, you sir, yes. No. Sir, yes, ma'am, you. Yes, Paytm is the right answer.
Paytm is the correct answer. Which Indian startup started by aggregating local service professionals?
No, wait, we'll be repeating the question, just 1 minute. Which Indian startup started by aggregating local service professionals? Sir, you want to answer? Yes, answer. Okay, so yes, the correct answer is Urban Clap.
Which startup began as a QR code based payment apps in India?
So, sorry? Yes, the correct answer is PhonePe. Which Indian startup began as an online fashion retailer for women? Well, yes, ma'am. No.
No.
Yes, the correct answer is Nika.
Which Indian startup began by aggregating budget hotels? Amit's.
So, do you want to answer? Would you like to answer? Yes. Sorry?
Yes.
Yes, the correct answer is Oyo.
Next question is, which startup created India's first large-scale online pharmacy platform?
You, ma'am. Yes. Sorry? Farm easy.
Right.
Yes, that's the correct answer. Which Indian startup began a unicorn by digitizing mutual fund investments for retail users? I'll again repeat. Which Indian startup began a unicorn by digitizing mutual fund investments for retail users? Any guesses, guys? No, sir. Yes, the answer is Grow.
It's
correct. Yes.
So we have our last question. Which Indian startup built India's largest B2B marketplace connecting manufacturers and retailers?
Yes, sir. Sorry? No. Yes, correct, sir. Congratulations to all the winners. We'll be giving out the goodies after the session. Udan. The correct answer is Udan. So we'll be taking a short 5-minute break. We'll be starting the next session soon. So, up next, we have a speaker whose work has redefined what inclusive entrepreneurship looks like in practice. Please welcome Ms. Alina Alam, founder and CEO of Mitti Cafe. Miss Alina began her journey at just 22, with no capital or infrastructure, guided by a powerful belief that dignity and opportunity should be accessible to all. What started as a single table has grown into world's largest chain of cafes run entirely by persons with disabilities, operating across some of India's most prestigious institutions. Her work reflects a leadership style rooted in inclusion, community, and courage, proving that businesses built with purpose can also scale sustainably. In this session, we will share leadership lessons from building a startup with zero funding to navigating the journey from survival to scale, offering insights on how belief, trust, and discipline can create lasting impact. Please give a round of Please give a warm round of applause for Miss Alina Alam. I would request Mr. Ajay Bahiti, partner at EPIC, to felicitate Miss Alina. Please put a warm round of applause.
Hello. How do I get the... Okay, where? This side? How do I come to the first slide? Yeah, okay. Okay. Again, feel so enthused and excited to be here amongst all of y'all. The next few minutes that we talk, more than it being about me, it is going to be about all of y'all. In my journey, y'all will find bits of yourself, whether it is the aspirations, the fear, the failures, some moments of success, and overall yourself. And that's what I have found out, and that's the journey that I'll be speaking about. So this picture is little me, about 3 years old, and I remember my mother narrating this story that, when I was 3 years old, I looked at this lady on the road, uh, old amma, old auntie, and she was getting wet. The next thing that I did was I immediately, went back home, of course, with my parents, and I got my best bag. I put in all of my favorite things, and I got out my favorite umbrella, and I said that please take me to her. I think the seeds of compassion and courage were sown in very early. So now let me take you all back, forward and now, back from here a couple of years. So I was this 22-year-old in college, much like you all. Final semester waiting for placements that will finally get a job, will make some good money, and with the rest, party. That was my aim in life. But God had other plans, and I got to watch this one documentary that changed my life. I meet this guy in my final semester of college through a documentary. Any idea who this guy is? Who's this guy? Any guesses? Who could this guy be? Alexander, good guess. Greek god. Socrates. Actually, most of these guys look very similar. So his name is Nero. So Nero was an emperor in the ancient Roman Empire. You see, mighty rich. He would win one war after the other, and one day Nero wins the biggest battle of his life. And when you win, what do? Celebrate, party. So Nero decided to throw a party and he invited the who's who of Tinseltown. He invited kings and queens, princes and princesses from across 7 kingdoms. And as evening befell, Nero said, boss, we need some lights to make the party happening and rocking. So he decided to burn kachra, waste, to generate light. Nero decided to burn the prisoners of war and the poor people who he had captured, who he considered not more than waste. I was 22 then, sitting in that classroom while my friends walked out. I was there for the next 3 hours contemplating as to what did I just see, what just happened. Which is when I realized this very simple thing, that the problem was not this guy. The problem was not Nero. You could equate Nero with atrocities, injustice, discrimination, all the not so nice things that exist in this world that will always exist. The problem was not Nero. What was the problem then? What was the problem? Perception. The problem was Nero's guests as to how thousands of them could sing, dance, drink when fellow human beings burnt and died. And at that point of time, that 22-year-old me, I realized that I was one of Nero's guests. That is, if you feel something about anything, and if you're not willing to take action, then you've taken a side. And unfortunately, that side is that of the oppressor. I decided I could not sit for college placements and instead started on the journey of finding myself somewhere. So I started volunteering with organizations that work in the disability inclusion space. So I have 2 kids today. Like one is about 8 months old, the other one is slightly older. And generally when we conceive, we say we want a healthy baby. What does a healthy baby mean? Without a disability, right? The problem is not that there are over 70 million, there is over 7 crore people with disabilities in India and over 1 billion people with disabilities across the world. The problem, as I realized, was a larger statistics. And you know what that was? That was the disability and the perceptions of the community that stops us from seeing the magic in their abilities. And I wanted to challenge and change just that. And having been brought up by my own grandmother, who was this stellar woman with a disability, but all that I could see in her while growing up was abilities. I was very confused as to how a person, so Amma, that's what I would call her, while she required support and mobility, that was one aspect to her. But her favorite color was this. This is what she loved to eat. She loved animals. And there were 1,000 more things to her. But I was very confused when I went out into the world and how a person's disability and disability alone could define the friends they have, the love they find, the jobs they find. So while I started on this journey, did not sit for college placements, I needed a common denominator to do 2 very simple things. One, money should enter the accounts of these lovely people that you see here year on year. Second, more important than that, to be able to create awareness about inclusion with every meal or beverage that we serve. So food as a denominator to do 2 very simple things. Our first cafe was a small table and an umbrella. The kitchen was a dilapidated tin shed full of generations of rats. I started Mitti with 0 startup capital and multiple rejections. How many of you all know what CapEx and OpEx is? Capital expenditure, operational expenditure. So when I started my journey, I did not know what CapEx and OpEx is. You see, and this is for all of you all. When you all start your journey, you all always feel na ki kuch nahi hai, how do I start? So let me tell you this. Scarcity is the best asset that anyone can have. And you know why? Because you have nothing to lose. Scarcity leads to desperation, leads to shamelessness, leads to a leech-like attitude. When the next time somebody tells you don't be a despo in life, please say that I will be a despo in life. So when I didn't have money, I went from door to door, shop to shop, house to house, asking the community, who, y'all, the community to join the movement of inclusion. And looking at me, I thought nobody is going to give me money. So right from our spoon, second-hand oven, second-hand fridge, tissue papers were all donated by people I didn't know. This girl that you see here, I remember the first day she came in for the interview, she came in crawling because at that point of time her family could not afford a wheelchair. You would give her this clicker, her hands would shake and it would fall. Today the same girl, sitting on her wheelchair, she manages 10 other people with disabilities. She's the manager for our first cafe and her name is Kirti. As I talk to you, we have thousands of Kirtis across the multiple Mitti cafes that we have, and together they serve kitna meals? Indian rupees mein? Indian numericals mein? 2 crore meals. So 2 crore times there are team members with physical, intellectual and psychiatric disabilities have been able to create awareness about inclusion, they being our change makers in the forefront. ये क्लिकर थोड़ा स्लो है क्या? चलो, who's this person in the middle? बताओ. Mr. Narayan Murthy, one of the founders of Infosys. But the hero of the picture is someone else. कौन है? बताओ. Who's the hero of the picture? Why? Why? The guy in the center, but why? Correct. Actually, to be honest, everyone in this picture is a hero. But you're right. The story that I'm going to be sharing with you is that of this little boy here. His name is Bhairappa. He's got dwarfism, he's got motor disability, and he is neurodivergent. He's got mild intellectual disability. And the reason I call Bhairappa the hero of the picture is that he's representative of the hundreds and millions of stories of persons with disabilities that are often untold, go unnoticed. So when Bhairappa came in, he was rejected at 80 plus jobs, which is post that we got lucky. The day Mr. Murthy came in was the day Bhairappa also came in. So we took him in. And while we could get him a t-shirt, when he came in, I've not cropped this picture, he did not know the concept of wearing slippers or even brushing his teeth. Today, Bhairappa, you look at the graph. You only keep changing. So today, Bhairappa, second. Can you all only keep changing? I'll tell you next, telling us, that's okay. So today, Bhairappa is our manager at our cafe at the Bangalore International Airport. And it is the same boy. And now listen to this. Bhairappa once tells me that when he was born, when Bhairappa was born, in his village, the entire village labeled him as a child of ill omen. His mother passed away on day 1 and he was labeled as a child of ill omen. Bhairappa further tells me, and he was 32 years old when he told me this. He tells me that when he was born, he was labeled as a child of ill omen and nobody from his village would let their children play with him. So he said, I've not had a single friend all my life. Today, Bhairappa has become the team lead. He's got friends at Mitti Cafe. He's built a 3-story building also in his village and the whole village comes to him. But he was told something even more painful. And you know what he was told? He was told that Bhairappa, because of your disability, nobody will ever love you. Love सबको चाहिए, right? Irrespective of पैसा है नहीं है. Love is something that we all need, right? Next. But don't be too sad when this happened. So I met up with Mr. Azim Premji and I mentioned to him that Bhairappa was working at Mitti Cafe Infosys and Rupa was working at Mitti Cafe Wipro. So this was an Infosys Wipro love story. So love has no boundaries, disability being minuscule. Go on to the next slide. Yeah. And that's Bhairappa and Rupa for you. While Rupa is not with us anymore, she's left this world, but we've made a promise to Bhairappa that Rupa will live on every day in each of our stories. She will inspire us every day with her stories of resilience, with her stories of strength, with her stories of hope, and that she taught us how to love. So post Rupa and Bhairappa, we've had 50 plus love stories turned marriages at Mitti Cafe. So love has no boundaries, and disability being minuscule is something Rupa has taught us, and we'll always remember her. Next slide, Karia. See, in your lives also, there'll be a time, professional, personal, that everything will be like gung-ho, wow, wow, nice. And then it'll come dipping down. Everything will come flat down. And then what do? So COVID for us, pre-COVID, we were 13 cafes, 1-3. COVID happened and all our cafes shut down. All. We had hundreds of our team members with disabilities we had to support. While we were looking at survival, one of our team members with intellectual disabilities, his name is Hemant, he's got cerebral palsy and autism. So generally with people with intellectual disability, what do we say? Not all disabilities are visible, right? So what do we tell people with intellectual disability? Mental disability wale ko kya bolte? What do we tell them? What do we speak about them? Pagal? Aimless? They don't know what they're saying, they don't know what they're doing. Our experience with people with intellectual disabilities has been so different. Hemant, at the peak of COVID, this boy comes and tells us, Didi, log bhooke hain. Look at his vision, huh? Listen to this. We only seen 100 meals, 1,000 meals, a lakh meals, a number to the impact of this boy with an intellectual disability. He comes and he tells me, Didi, log bhooke hain, hame khana banana aata hai. We know how to cook. And listen to his vision. Agar hum khana banayenge, koi bhooka nahi rahega. And he burst out into laughter. We got onto Hemant's vision. And today, it gives me immense pride to say that our team members with disabilities have served over 80 lakh meals to the economically vulnerable, thereby changing the paradigm that given the right kind of support, persons with disabilities can not just support themselves, but support the nation in need. See, during COVID, all our cafes shut down, so we could raise some money through a platform, and we thought our problems are solved. We're going to send it back into the accounts of our team members with disabilities, and then we'll have some time to, think. But our problems just began. When we sent back money to the accounts of our team members with disabilities, when all our cafes had shut down during COVID, they said, we don't want money sitting at home. We want to get back and earn with dignity. We reached out to our mentors. It's important to have mentors in your life and be shameless in whatever you ask. Be desperate. Be leech-like. So we went and we asked every person possible to just give us a small space. While all our cafes within corporates are shut, we want to start cafes in any place to give back that opportunity to our team members. So we started cafes at Sidecare Cancer Hospital, and luck would have it that this gentleman on your right visited Sidecare Cancer Hospital for a vaccination. And who's he? He's Mr. Hari Marar. He's the MD of Bangalore International Airport, and we got a call from Bangalore International Airport when he was so small, right? And we started at Bayal. Then we got a call from another institution, Mumbai International Airport. And remember, this was a time when all our cafes had shut down. But we couldn't lose hope. This picture is our inauguration at Mumbai International Airport. The airport had created the 30 feet stage for us. The last performance was by our team members with disabilities. What is common in each of their faces here, in each of their stories here? Happiness? It is only later that I realized it. What else? Batao. What is common? Hope? Courage? While all of y'all can see this, and everything positive in this picture, what you all might not know is that for each one of them, Caroline, disability rights activist for last 20 years, can't hear or speak, cerebral palsy. Styrus, he's got paraplegia. Chandrakant, motor disability. Toshit, Down syndrome. For all of these people here, it's their first livelihood opportunity. After years of rejection, after years of bullying, after years of being told they're not good enough, and the question remains, till when? I've come back to this picture. This is where we started from. Our first cafe was a small table and an umbrella, open air, barish hota tha and we used to run away. First day, nobody even came to Mitti Cafe. Like 10 hours we sat there, and I think somebody felt really bad and he came and he gave us like 200 rupees. That was us on the first day. So zero startup capital, multiple rejections, did not know what CapEx and OpEx is. 90% of our equipment is donated by absolute strangers by the community. Our first kitchen was dilapidated tin shed full of generations of rats. Today, next slide. This is where we are. Next slide. This is where we are. And the question remains, hua kaise? And the answer to this is that what I have done is nothing incredible or special. This is something that each one of you all can do. There are just certain things that I got lucky in following, and I'll just decode that for you all here. How many of you all think that the idea has to be great to succeed? How many of you all think that? Idea has to be great to succeed. It has to be unique, dhasu. Always remember this ratio. You said something? Batao. It's not required? High five. So it is, remember this ratio in life. It is 99% implementation and 1% the idea for success. The idea can be the simplest of idea, and we all boast, right? Unique idea. I mean, we're over a billion people in this world. And it is not possible that somebody has not already thought about, what you are thinking. So this attitude, ki chupa ke rakhenge idea. Second, gende ka chamda. Rhino skin to be able to grow. So when I started Mitti, you all have an incubation center. Mitti as an idea was rejected at every incubation center across the country. I still have that list, cut. And finally, one incubation center said, you can come for the pitching round. I was like, wow, pitching round mein entry, that was... And there were 3 judges, very successful judges, And it is this, of course, I went and I pitched and I got to see my scores at the end. Fortunately or unfortunately. So on scalability, on experience, on falana dhimka, very low scores. Last column was passion. 5 being the highest, 1 being the lowest. 3 judges gave me the same score. What was it? 5? I wish you all were there. 1 out of 5 on passion. Yeah? That was literally the only pride I had because paisa nahi tha, experience to tha hi nahi. Yeah, passion tha. That was like literally the only gurur I had in life. And that got shattered that day. So it is very important to have a gende ka chamda, but balance it by keeping your ego at home. So when we say from that small table and an umbrella to where we are today we are the world's largest chain of cafes, to be completely managed by adults with physical, intellectual and psychiatric disabilities, it is because every day we feel we can just do something better. Third, the power of the community to grow exponentially. Who's the community? Right, left, back. This entire room, you have no idea of the potential that each one of y'all can bring about in the lives of the others. So growing, I think, utilizing the community to grow exponentially. Leech-like attitude, shamelessness, absolute desperation. If you want something ziddi ho, be a despo in life. How many of y'all have self-confidence? Show of hands. Self-confidence? Self-confidence? How many of y'all don't have self-confidence? So if you all have self-confidence, very nice, both acha. But if you are somebody like me, who naturally doesn't have self-confidence, even today before like an inauguration, over 70 cafes, something's going to go wrong. And, but that's how I am. But for those of y'all who are like me, less self-confidence, I'll give you a trick. Less self-confidence, give in your full, jaan laga do. Tie your camel and 100% faith, you will still make it in life. There is, from that small table and an umbrella to becoming the world's largest chain of cafes. Next slide. Next slide. To here, where is this? Can you all guess? Kaise pata? Correct. Next slide. So to being in the Supreme Court of India, our cafe was inaugurated by the Chief Justice of India at the Supreme Court. Next slide. Can you all guess where this is? This was a VVIP toilet that our team members with disabilities turned into this beautiful cafe. कहाँ है बताओ? Guess. हाँ? Pardon, very soon. दिल्ली, हाँ दिल्ली तो है. चल नेक्स्ट स्लाइड कर दो. नेक्स्ट स्लाइड करो. हाँ. So Mitti Cafe started inside the Rashtrapati Bhavan. But while I say this, always remember that picture that I showed you, right? Zero startup capital, multiple rejection, small table umbrella, बारिश आता था भाग जाते थे. This picture that you see here, while you all can all see the president, it was the president's birthday during when she inaugurated Mitti Cafe. And the president's security, being the honorable president's security, 3 days they made us do this drill, what not to do around the president. With like that, like every time agar tum, like theek hai, like so we were always on this attention position, and we were supposed to be like this even when the president comes, no touching her, no smiling too much, no talking too much, no laughing too much. And I think we broke all those rules that day, but we were still cautious because our lives were at stake. So, but fortunately, this lovely cake that you see here now was made by our candidates with intellectual disabilities and their mothers. It was a surprise for me also. So when I took the Honorable President of India inside Mitti Cafe, I showed her. And when I came out, I saw these balloons and this cake. And happy birthday to you. And I'm like, gone. But thankfully, they didn't tell me this, because if they would have, I think I would have told the security, fearing my life. But not only did the President of India come and cut the cake, she asked for 40 spoons. And she fed every one of our team members with disabilities. Speaks volumes about kindnesses and kindnesses that each one of you all have. नहीं, इसका पहले में जाओ, उसका पहले में जाओ. And then we had another visitor. Who's this? Of course, Prime Minister of India, our Honorable Prime Minister of India, visited Mitti Cafe in our inauguration at Navi Mumbai Airport. And something very interesting happened. So after Indira Gandhi was unfortunately, when she lost her life, so the SPG, Special Protection Group, which is the most elite group, right, of security forces in the country, were formed. And their only aim in life is to protect the Prime Minister, whoever the Prime Minister is. So while the Adani family, they gave our name because they, of course, own the airport, and they love what we do. But they gave our name to SPG, and we were very happy that the hone wala hai, our entire team will meet Pradhan Mantri ji. And then one night before, I receive a call from one of the family members that, so Diva calls me, she says that, Alina, this is cancelled. I was like, okay. Because SPG says that, security-wise, they will not be able to control the Prime Minister's interaction with our team members. And we said, acha, theek hai. Then she called up after 10 minutes and she said, nee, I think Papa will still try. Papa is Gautam Adani. So Papa tried, and Mr. Adani, again, incredible person. At least, he's been very kind to our organization. So what he did was he called out the Prime Minister, and he convinced the Prime Minister to have Mitti Cafe as part of the segment. So yes, it did happen. But what you all don't see in this picture is the story of Praveen. Praveen is our candidate. He's our manager at the Mumbai International Airport. Go and tell him hi whenever you visit Mumbai International Airport. So Praveen, he's got paraplegia. And his wife Archana is outside when she's my travel buddy. So Praveen's wife once tells me, Archana is telling me that Praveen never goes to his child's parents-teacher meeting. and he never goes to his child's school. So I asked her, has it always been like that? And she says, nahi. One day, Praveen, so he has an electric wheelchair and his son Arav. So he took Arav on his electric wheelchair from home to school. And the entire school made fun of Arav. And he promised himself then that I will never go to my son's school because I don't want him to feel embarrassed because of me. After hearing this, of course, I had a chat with Praveen. And when the Prime Minister came, the Prime Minister interacted with Praveen, patted him on the back, and this was on live television. So then Praveen calls me up and he says that when he went back, the entire neighborhood had come with garlands, to greet him the very Indian way. And later I asked Archana, Praveen jata hai kya wapas school? And she said, huh. So he started going back to school, his son's school. Prachi's mother, Prachi's got autism. Not all disabilities are visible. So, and she's non-verbal. So it took Prachi's mother years to make Prachi say, Aapka naam kya hai? And Prachi will say, Prachi. So when the Prime Minister came, he did ask Prachi, Aapka naam kya hai? And it took Prachi 30 seconds to say Prachi. Her mother later called me and she said that no neighbor, no relative would ever invite them to their family gatherings for any functions because they would feel embarrassed. She further said that nobody thought that they could have a conversation with my child. People forget that India is a land of languages. We might not know each other's languages, but we can connect from. People forgot that for Prachi. And she said that koi Prachi se baat nahi kiya, lekin aaj Pradhan Mantri baat ki. Today the Prime Minister of India spoke to Prachi. While I speak about the While I speak about the Prime Ministers and the Presidents of, we also had the Defence Minister of India inaugurating our cafe at the Lucknow International Airport. Next. Oh, and who said Parliament? So Om Birla ji came, and knowing now that you all know my personality type. So when Mr. Om Birla came, what did I say? Sir, Parliament de dijiye na, please. So it should happen. Next. So MITI is also starting inside the Indian Army, Indian Navy, Indian Air Force. Again, a very proud association for us, where there are Asha schools, for those of you all who don't know, where there are children of your army veterans, who are studying there, and then when they become adults, that's when we come in, and that's our little contribution. Next slide. This picture, can you recognize the gentleman there? Upar. So I was 9 months pregnant, and this was my first child. And I got a call from the German consulate that Federal Chancellor wants to come and visit MITI Cafe. So we thought that Federal Chancellor must be some very senior person from the German, consulate, and we were so, thrilled and happy. And then the next day we see India Coffee House, where we have like specialty coffee of MITI Cafe getting shut. Commissioner of Karnataka Police, he was at MITI Cafe. And the roads got shut. And then, I think a simple Google, we realized that he's the Olaf Scholz. I might not agree with everything that he does, but him coming, of course, it got us a lot of awareness. And yes, we did have the Federal Chancellor of Germany, who's equivalent to our Prime Minister here, coming and visiting MITI Cafe. Next. While I've said all of this now, the one important picture that I'd want you all to remember is from where we started. And to where we are today, me saying that, I have done it by myself, it's just not possible. It is the power of the community. That time when I didn't have any startup capital, the local vegetable vendors came to know what we are doing. They got us these baskets that turned into our lampshade. The local electrician, Shrikant uncle, I was bargaining with him that uncle, second-hand fridge hai, 500 to too much. And then we came down to like 350. He came and he refused to charge me that 350. So it is the power of the community that has, got us to where we are. Also, I see women here, and so you were mentioning that 51%, women admissions. That's just incredible. So a big round of applause. This is just so when I started my journey, um, I went to a lot of investors. And at that point of time, investors ne bola ki bhai, you are just out of college, jumpy, hunky, dory, energetic. What when you get married and what when you have children? What will happen to our rokda? What will happen to our money? I didn't have an answer to them then. But I have an answer to them today. Becoming, so I did get married to this incredible person called Sadik, and I hope everybody finds a husband like Sadik. And this was me. So United Nations had called me to speak at an event in Morocco. 36-hour flight, and I went to my gynecologist. I was 8 months pregnant then. That fit to fly certificate, please. And she's like, हाँ dete hai. And then when I see, I was like, not fit to fly. Like, bhago idhar se. So when we went back home, my husband Sadik, he saw me, and he said, Alina, you want to go? तुम्हारे parents, मेरे parents को बोलना ही नहीं. But you should go. Not once did that man tell me that if you go, something happens, it's your responsibility because this work is yours. So it is the ecosystem which is so important. So statistics tell us that after you get married, most women, they drop out of the workforce. First child to, jo baki kuch hai, the leftover crumbs, statistically, you'll not even find them. But given the right kind of ecosystem, next slide. Today, yes, I did go places when I was pregnant and even in my second pregnancy, next slide. And yes, I did have this chutki, and I have 2 chutkis now. And next slide, next slide, next slide. Yes, and the first one, I've taken almost 400 flights with him. So 15 days we are at home and 15 days we are traveling. And this gentleman that you see here, you feel, I know him. कोई मेरा रिश्तेदार है, some friend. This is one of those strangers like you who decided to babysit my child just so naturally. So an answer for those investors who didn't think I was valuable for their checks because I might get married or might have children. Not only have we survived, we have been able to scale. And becoming a mother has made me so much stronger in every aspect of life, including as an entrepreneur. Chalo, we last here. And the last slide is a gift slide, okay, for you all. So when we talk about hunger, millions, billions, poverty, millions, homelessness, millions, violence, unreported, millions, billions. And then we think, and each one of you all, that kya karenge, what can we do? Like we literally a drop in the ocean. And I used to think the same way. You're talking about 7 crore people with disabilities only in India and 1 billion people with disabilities across the world, and the 1 out of 6 people in the world have a disability. But a little girl, 6-year-old, Chutki, she told me this one story, and that's a story that's a gift from me to you all. Take it. Keep it with you. Not always. After absorbing it, spread it. So there was a high tide and there were millions of starfishes dying on the seashore. There was this young girl picking up one starfish, throwing it into the water, the other starfish throwing it into the water. So a wise man in inverted commas, comes and asks this young girl, what are you doing? Now this girl continues to do what she's doing. So she picks up the starfish again, throws it back into the water. This time he asks her more assertively, young girl, what are you doing? This shore is full of millions of starfishes and here you are picking up one, throwing it into the water. Is this some kind of a game, a joke? What difference will it make? You know what she did has changed my perception about change, and I hope it changes yours too. So she picks up this one starfish and she throws it back into the water, telling the wise old man in inverted commas it made a difference to that one. So for me, my first starfish was Kirti, The girl who came in crawling for the interview because her family could not afford a wheelchair. Today she sits on her wheelchair and manages 10 other people with disabilities. She was my first starfish. And every day it is the hunger, the pursuit to reach out to the billion starfish across the world for whom economic independence and dignity is not yet a reality. We all glorify social work. दान करेंगे, इसके लिए अच्छा करेंगे, उसके लिए भला करेंगे, and we feel very good about it. Let's replace social work with social duty, and you will see the world differently. There are millions of young girl children who would never be able to go to school, not get equal nutrition because of their gender. Millions who would not be able to see daylight from the womb because of their gender. Millions who are kept homeless after taking care of their children all their lives, kept at the railway station to die. Millions out there, we've all gone through lockdowns now. घर से बाहर निकले तो problem, घर पे रहे तो problem. Frustration. Persons with disabilities are kept in a lockdown for an entire lifetime because of inaccessible infrastructure, inaccessible perspectives, and here all of y'all are at a point of privilege. It is a debt, udhar, that we have towards the society, towards God, towards our family, towards this institution, towards our friends. For we are here today. There are billions who would want to be in this seat and here. It is a debt that we have to pay back to the society. Maybe our life goes and this debt is not ever repaid. But life is that journey. And as one of my favorite poets says, and I translate it for you all, he says, मेरे सीने में नहीं तो तेरे सीने में सही हो कहीं भी आग लेकिन आग जलनी चाहिए. You know what that means? It means we'll all die someday. But irrespective of whether we live or die, do that one bit for that one person. Inspire just that one more person to join you, and the world will change for what it should be. And you know, when you go to any Mitti cafe, you'll always see magic of abilities. What is magic of abilities? Not just our team members with disabilities, no. It is the magic of abilities that lies within each one of you all to bring about a difference. Compassion and courage are two weapons that can eradicate any problem that our world faces today. And good news is, God has naturally given that to you in plenty. Thank you for having me.
Alina ma'am, thank you so much for being with us today and for sharing such an inspiring journey. Your stage presence is truly captivating. Your journey and insights on leading with purpose has truly resonated with us.
We now move on into the Ask Me Anything session, and this is a wonderful opportunity for all of you to engage directly with our speakers. To begin this session, I request Mr. Ratnakar Samavedam, Mr. Suresh Narasimha, Ms. Alina Alam, Ms. Priya Sharma, and Mr. Amit Goyal and Mr. Shamim Javed to kindly join us on the stage. Please have a huge round of applause. If there's a question that you've been holding on to, a doubt you'd like to clarify, or an insight you'd like to explore further, this is the moment. These conversations often lead to the most meaningful takeaways. I encourage you to make the most of this opportunity and actively participate. Let's begin the AMA.
Sorry, shall I type it? Yeah. Did you type it?
Guys, this session is not over. Please stay back. Please stay back. Volunteers.
Guys, it's the Ask Me Anything question. So everyone will get a chance to ask any of our guests all of their questions that you've been saving since the start of the event. So please feel free to do so. We'll rotate the mics in the audience. Please let us know whoever has a question. You can point it to anybody in the guest.
Hello, good evening. So my name is Hanumant and I'm into career counseling and study abroad. So I started my career as a banker, financer, and then I thought that I was not a right fit there. And then I got into education sector. I was earning a lot of money, but then I never had that fulfillment and satisfaction. So I thought, okay, I should get into education sector. So I started as a teacher. I got the opportunity to, work as a school principal as well for a very brief period. So the problem that I see is that students or maybe parents are not aware of, you know, the existing careers or what the children need in terms of their interests, skills, passion. But what I find in India, particularly Andhra Pradesh, maybe I'm very judgmental, you know, or even Telangana, students are being encouraged to take engineering or medicine. Now, I wanted to change this mindset. I thought of, building up psychometric assessment tools and probably address this situation to the parents and schools and also integrate a tool called Careers Progress Tracker right from grade 6 till grade 12. What are the activities that the school counselor or maybe the teachers are telling them, whether they're following it or not. Now, I wanted to understand from you people who are so experienced whether my plan should will be working or should I exit? I mean, when I was hearing this, Mr. Suresh, I'm sorry, I forgot your name. So, yeah, so should I exit beforehand? This is my question actually.
What do you want to do? Do you want to exit?
I'm very passionate about it.
Then don't exit.
Yeah.
Answer. I mean, if your question is that will I make a lot of money, then we'll at least think about it. But
Yeah.
if you want to continue, you should continue. You left your job to do this, and now you are asking me should I exit, right? You have already left what you are not happy about. You are doing what you are happy about.
I'm pitching right in front of you. That's my question actually.
Will I? If your question is, will you fund
Yeah,
me? The
yeah.
answer is no. For a very different reason, which I will get to.
And moreover, as you said, I'm no more a student. So on the lighter note.
No, I mean, if you ask me, will you fund this idea? My answer is no, but it doesn't mean that others' answer will be no, right? So,
Sure.
I think Andhra and Telangana, at one time it is a combined Andhra Pradesh, we have been more brought up to build on engineering and medical background. Most of us are on that segment, and most of the families getting into job and having a comfortable life is what parents have been envisaged, because we are not seeing that entrepreneurship capability in this Andhra region. There are few particular things they have done well. I think other than you, sir, I think institutions like IIMs, IITs, all of them, from SK University, KL University, Geetham, everybody is investing to build that entrepreneurship ecosystem in the people. And as she said, one star in the ocean, everybody can make an attempt. But if you want to make money out of it and you want investors to come and play, I think currently people are not ready to invest in this kind of startup.
Frankly speaking, I mean, I'm very passionate about it. The reason why I left my banking and finance job because I felt that I was not a right fit there. My skills were not at all aligning of what I was doing. And when I joined as a teacher, I was enjoying what I was doing. Fun activities, classroom management, whole lot of things. I just love being with the kids. Then I thought, okay, so this is the problem actually. That's why I left the job and I am right now working with the kids. So the problem is that the parents are not aware, the schools are not aware, so maybe, I should do
No,
this.
they're aware. Now, entrepreneurship schools are coming at 6th to 12th. There is an opportunity. Pivot your business idea a little bit more. It will do wonders for you. That we can discuss offline, not in the general public. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Hello, good evening. My question to Suresh, sir. My name is Santosh, and I'm currently working on a Web3 startup. What exactly, which works on a supply chain management, which will be working across the globe. That is the ultimate goal that I wanted to reach in this product. So, my question is, how are you seeing the Web3 future in India? That is first question. And would you like to invest in my startup? Second question.
No,
Thank you.
I need lot more information, but the looks of it, what you are doing is more of, it's not a Web3 business model, you are just using blockchain, is my understanding at this point of time. If it's not the Web3 business model, but if it's just a blockchain in the supply chain, probably this is not investable at this point of time. A quick answer, but I need to understand a bit more, right? As I said, I think Web3 as a transformative business model, the way you use crypto, the way you use crypto to drive a lot of social, this one, etc., is a very, very interesting stuff, right? But Web3 is a very, very different thinking, right? This is not a linear thinking, right? A lot more riskier, etc. So that's what I was talking about when I was talking about Web3, right? So where it's not just just for securing data or giving you the access control. It's not what I meant, right? The Web3 thinking is different, and that's where we think a lot of investment will get into.
My startup is been incubated in STPIs and also
Okay, I mean,
APIs.
I will get,
So
with
I
respect
just
to your
wanted
startup,
to.
probably we can have a discussion.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
But
Hello, sir. Sir, I'm Akhil PS from NIT Warangal. I'm a PhD scholar over there. I'm in the initial phase of thinking like how to commercialize my work. I'm working on neodymium iron boron magnet. Basically, it is a rare earth permanent magnet, and I'm thinking like to commercialize it. Recently, China how trade was on these rare earth elements and magnets all over the world, because of which India also have plans to make this magnet in India. Recently, they announced a plan of 7,200 crores to produce this magnet in house. My question is that how well can we rely on this plan, because it is a policy, because of policy this plan is existing. Once this China lift off this trade barrier, it will come back to this market with a less price and we can't compete it. So can we trust these kind of markets?
no, policies you should trust, right? I mean, to answer your question, policies, if you don't trust, I mean, we are citizens of this country, you should trust the policy, you should trust this one. I mean, does should your thesis be dependent on only that policy? That's something which you need to evaluate as an entrepreneur. But I think what you are doing is an interesting enough idea, and I would love to talk to you on this.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
I'll just add one more thing. See, anything which is new, policy will be little volatile, right? So if you are building something, you have to think little ahead of that policy formation, looking at various dots which are moving together, that in what direction it can move, and build your business model resilient to that. So even if it opens up, you can still sustain doing that, right? So you'll have to think through with that, you know, eventuality which may come in the future with policy changes. So policy is a very dynamic space, especially if you look for countries like India, which is emerging economies. Policy will always be dynamic, right? Because we are in a very VUCA world. We are in a very, very different kind of a world today. So policies will keep changing. So you'll have to think through that what may change, and who will win. Those who can think it in the right direction. That which are the eventualities which may come and what direction policies may change. So if you have built yourself future ready for those changes and you can implement them, change your business model a little bit to work around that, you will succeed.
In spite of the policies.
Hello.
Hello, sir. I just wanted to ask this question. Founders keep asking whether a DTC logistics or food app is investable or not. So, what are those three non negotiable signals that turn a maybe into a yes?
Logistics.
DTC or any kind of food related?
Currently, as I said, the bars have changed a lot actually. Very difficult to get funding from VCs right now. Even Fireside, which is an investor, is saying you have to reach 25 crores, that is 2 crores revenue per month. If you don't reach that, it is very difficult. So, if there are some angels are willing to invest and you can see the tailwinds coming for your startup with lesser money, you can still try. But it is very difficult to see seed stage level investments coming in that space currently in the market.
I'd want to give you a positive perspective. So as I mentioned, when I started Mitti, I did it with zero startup capital, much like what you all would start your organizations with. And subsequently, we were initially rejected by a lot of, organizations. But there was one organization called Social Venture Partners. Again, for us, it's a social enterprise. And SVP is basically, they're philanthropists across the country who invest their time and money in, supporting wannabe budding entrepreneurs like me. So SVP had like a Krishna Kumar, Eric Savage, all of these crazy, incredible people sitting on the panel. And here I was, like one cafe, three people. The third person was me only. Literally that. And we did get that 20 lakh check. And it is very late that I asked them that, why did you give us the, after the first meeting, the second and third and the fourth, because we don't, satisfy most of your criterias. Whether it is experience, you'll require a mid-level organization, we just started. So they said, Alina, it is you. It is your passion. Because none of the check boxes that we had conventionally, you didn't check, we couldn't tick mark most of it. So I think adamance is very, very important in this journey. And if I think remember your heart is more intelligent than your head, and you will know when to listen to it. So don't listen to the world noise then. If there is a gut feel that tells you that you want to go for it, people invest in people. Always remember that. Thank you.
Just to add this, okay, just 1 second. I don't know why people focus so much on sectors, that this sector is not investable, etc. No, it is not only that, okay, it's a factor. Like when I started my company, there were three big companies in that sector, all three shut down. So at that point of time, no investor was willing to touch us even with a 10-foot pole, believe me. But here we are. Point is, if you believe on the idea, it's something unique, you're really solving a problem, things will follow. But then you have to be critical enough. Is it really a good idea? Is it workable? Am I passionate enough? Okay, the road may be a slightly longer, maybe slightly curvy, but you will reach there ultimately. It's not sector dependent at all, I'm telling you guys.
See, I mean, this is the theory I have. All businesses are fundable. The question is at what scale, at what time, and by who, right? That's what will vary. But all businesses are fundable here, right? If you get a, let's say 100 crore, 100 score, 100 crore or 500 crore scale, irrespective of what you are doing, some PE will come and invest money in you, right? So it's just a question of how long you can sustain with the required traction.
Hi, my question is to Alina. What are the day-to-day operational, financial, and marketing challenges of Mitikif, and how do you come up with it?
So a lot of people ask me, why food business and how are you scaling, this? I think, so challenges are there. I mean, if you're in any business, there'll always be challenges. But I think the way to mitigate is to have a solution-based approach. It is very, very important. And I think one thing that works out very well for us is that we value our people. So I think the one thing, agar koi puche, give me one reason why you've been able to scale from where you were to where you are today. I'd say it is a participatory approach, which a lot of people might not agree with, but it absolutely worked out for us, and valuing our people. So, for example, when a Sabiha came in, she's got multiple sclerosis, very severe disability, no control over her hands or her legs. So, if you would give her, so we tried to put her in the kitchen, it was big flop. It didn't work out. Did we let go of Sabiha?
we realized that this girl has got the gift of the gab. You know what that means? If you come in for a 10 rupees chai, she will talk you out of 50 rupees combo meal. Now Sabiha has become a bada admi now. She's like left Mitti Cafe. She started her own kirana shop. She's deployed a person with Down syndrome, and today she's one of our vendors. So our atta chawal comes from Sabiha's shop. So it is about valuing your people, and we've used the Sabiha approach on anyone who comes. So for them, it's not a 9 to 5. I think all the problems that we face as an organization, as a leader, I think I'm a very vulnerable person. And I encourage that in the team and we do it together. Not every day is rosy, but when you do it as a team, when there is a sense of ownership, it will just become much lighter. I think that's one approach that I always follow. Thank you.
Let me ask one more question to her that will help answer some bit of it. What is the attrition of people who connect with you?
So I'll tell you, so for us at Mitti, like our funda is that we don't want people to remain at Mitti forever. Like we don't. Like we want more people to come in. Like Mitti can be like a stepping stone to show the world what is possible. But we have very peculiar HR challenges. Nobody wants to leave. Like they just don't want to leave. Then people don't even want to take leaves. Just the other day, Hemant's sister, like Karuna meals Hemant. Hemant's sister, like she calls me up and she says that Rakhi hai, Hemant to bola tha chutti lega, and he's not coming. I think Hemant go, jao. He just doesn't want to go. So we have very, very strange challenges, and the only way that we've reached where we have reached, see, all resources will fall into place. Paisa aa jayega. Till today, so I am not, like, always remember that you can't be good at everything. So as a founder, I am not good at everything, but there is somebody out there who's better than me. So get in people who are better than you in the team. So even today when I look at Excel sheets, like you'll give me like this stare, but I'm very bad with like numbers. Like it looks like ants that are crawling and I just close it. But Swati Dokania, my co-director, she's amazing at it. And everyone at Mitti, I think the kind of ownership that they have, if you walk into a Mitti Cafe, if you ask Archana, Archana is a part of Mitti Cafe, Mumbai International Airport. Archana, Mitti Cafe ka owner kaun hai? She will not tell my name. You can try. She will say, hum hai. And that's what we inculcate into them from training day 0. And that works out for us.
I have a question. I'm an edtech entrepreneur and a community leader. So I have 2 questions, one on each side, and any of you can help me answer these questions for myself. So I've been around since 12 years. I'm from Vijayanagaram. I have my company over there, first IT company perhaps. So we have been around in education, services. We had started out with a vision of building a product around an LMS, built also. Did not go off as we wanted because marketing was a challenge. So we went on to do services for education across Hyderabad, Bangalore, and all of that, having executed it from my space in my small town. Now with the experience, like we have experience building LMS, customer management and all of that, and now we are like with AI, we have already built in the last 2-3 years, bootstrapped and stopped all other things, and we invested in building a product to help teachers, online teachers, to teach with more efficacy in the online space using AI, how to amplify their effort. So this is something we have built. My question is, with this 12 years runway actually, do you suggest that I have to start as another company actually? Will that make sense for me to start pitching? Or is it like, should we go ahead actually with the same brand name, because it is already a private limited company, been filing taxes for the last 12 years and all of that. Yeah. Second question, should I ask now? Or,
So my suggestion is for this particular vertical, start separately, go for pitching. Get it registered under DAPP and register. Don't carry the legacy for that actually. Because it will confuse investors. Are we investing in old business or in a new business? And they'll ask you where is your time you are spending on it actually. So better you do a separate company and raise money for it actually.
Thank you so much.
You you only get till 10 years of
Yes.
being in a startup. So
Yes.
at least if you want to leverage the government policy benefits around startup at any point in time, your 100 CR or 10 years, whichever you attain earlier. I wish you attain 100 CR earlier than 10 years. But that already goes off if you continue with the same name. So
Sir, there is one more problem also which we identified. When we filed to SEBI for AIF, when we use the word startup, Ratnagiri used startup, you fall under startup definition, the 10 years lifeline should be there, and
Yes.
every startup you have to take DIPP certificate. He said, sir, if I cross 10 years, then you can't invest because your PPM said as a startup investment at early stage. That also is a challenge.
I
people
have faced a similar challenge. Like, I'm an alumni of Goldman Sachs 10,000 Women. That program was there, facilitated by ISB. I was part of the initial cohorts, and from here I got to participate and be part of that. But for their subsequent programs and all of that, I don't qualify as a startup anymore because, like, more than 10 years. So that has been around in my mind. Can I take the next question? As a I'm also a community leader. I lead Google developer groups from Visakhapatnam. I've been leading it for 7 years now. And I am part of various other communities also, like Grace Hopper celebrations and a lot of other initiatives. And now I'm thinking, with this experience, I want to start another community which is more centric to the challenges of this ecosystem right here. So my question to you is, are there any initiatives, or from your experience, have you seen any such community initiatives being led by, I wouldn't say women, and I don't want to say that, but anything that strikes you, or can you give me some examples where I can go and maybe some support actually? Maybe can I apply? I'm not saying funding and all of that, but perhaps a grant or something any for such community initiatives that you're aware of.
Hyderabad, yes, people are doing that. As you said, no grants and other things, but voluntary communities started. People are going, discussions are happening, and it is propelling thing. And they are building the ecosystem together, showing this is the community I am building today, and can you do something for them? It is IIIT or IIT or HA or Succeed. A lot of people go to this community events. Yes, good community activities are happening. People are coming because sometimes, I don't know, T-Hub had a problem around 5 years back or even today. A startup has to walk in, they should have an OTP. They don't know whom to ask OTP. They can't enter into the system. That these communities have helped them to connect and get into the T-Hub by giving an OTP. I never thought that is a big problem for many startups. And one guy called Chaitanya, who started Draper Startup House, he came thrice to T-Hub. Every time security guard stopped him. He said, if I have to get into T-Hub, I have to get an OTP. What is that I have to do? Then he went to IIIT Hyderabad. There they said you have to register for event, so he registered for the event and get inside. Then I identified why people are saying I need OTP to get into institution. This all people are speaking about startups. Startup can't walk inside to know, right? For example, many outsiders want to come to this event and attend. I don't know, sir has published in community or not. A lot of people may not have an opportunity. There he felt, what is that I have to do? He searched, he found Draper Startup House, he went, he presented why he wanted to start Draper Startup House in Hyderabad. He said, everybody is open. Now please walk in. You don't need OTPs in like T-Hub or a entry barrier in IIIT. It's there. There is a need. Definitely you can do. Use Instagram. There is one program going on in Hyderabad called TG10X.
Okay.
Naidu is running in the park, Millionaires by Walk. It came in Enadu other day. It's a big news across. He's doing every Saturday, Sunday. He's inviting one of the VC or one of the successful startup founder to come, publishing an Instagram. First day 10, second day 30, fourth Saturday 100. Today 350 people are coming to Botanical Garden in Hyderabad. People went mad. It came in news also. Yeah, his number of followers going. He want to come to AP. I will introduce. He want to do AP 10X. You can be a forefront volunteer for him if you want to do that.
Definitely.
I think almost all communities in Bangalore nowadays are started in Kaban Park, yeah. right? Whether it's a reading club. I have to pitch in Bangalore, yeah. Right? So I think.
I understand.
Thank you.
Please go ahead, ma'am. You can do community, no issue.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. I am.
Sometimes, just I'll add one more thing. Sometimes community itself can support the community, so you don't need an external support. You build a community because they are benefiting from each other, right? From being
Right.
network, knowledge, or whatever. So once some within the community succeed, they understand that this is because of the community I succeeded. They automatically will start contributing. So build that culture that somebody becomes successful within the community using the support of the community should give back to the community.
Oh, I have seen so much success, but it
Yes.
is not like something tangible because again, as I shared, I am the face of perhaps Google communities. I don't want to be branded like that, only to that segment. I want to start doing events for other, perhaps Microsoft or other technical events also. I facilitate.
Once you are a bigger force, automatically people
Yeah.
will identify you and come you to get that support from you. Then you can think of how community can commercialize some of these opportunities to take it further to the next level, right? So that can happen.
Sure, thank you.
Yeah, good evening, panel. Here, as a startup mentors and investors, you have seen many startups working, and what everyone commonly told is that identifying a problem. That's where, for a good solution, a good startup can be expected, and everyone shown it in a practical manner. So, what my question here is that if one startup can provide solution for one problem, it can be of a particular area or a particular segment. So, to what extent, whether you have done or you advise younger generation to influence government of bringing change in a way that inspires or that gives the change to 10x, 100x, 1000x? Because we see the problems are not just to be completely cleared by startups. What the startups can do to give solutions is one part of the aspect, and how the successful startups can influence the government to replicate multifold, and is it not the responsibility of our upcoming youth generation to inculcate the aspect in them? Thank you.
You want? No. So, before Alina says, I can tell one thing, sir. Government is not in business of making money. They don't want to do any policy changes to build one particular business or other things. Most of the policy changes they do, which is going to impact society very positively. Recently, real money games, they put a ban. The reason is many people as went into speculation. They have seen a lot of that happening because of the database. They use the best data science to know what is really happening on the ground. He said it is going to kill the Indian population in different mode. I want to kill this very clearly. And whoever is lending them also got affected in the NBFC space. For encouragement, I think they are doing a lot of fund of funds. Because they said we can't deliver. We have institutions who are doing that education. They can also build entrepreneurs through education using the local ecosystem very effectively. They given a lot of funds. Today, sir is getting AIC. They also got previous this thing. The reason is they wanted to focus education of entrepreneurship from college level and school level. That's what they are trying to do. External parties can learn in different modes. They have an objective. Today, I was discussing about information availability for today's population is much larger than 20 years back. Today, you get every kind of information on the net, right? What is there to teach a 30 years or a 40 years old guy? They can learn, they can experience, they can do better. There are investors who can come and invest. He said, you guys slog, we are there as an institution, so we will fund them. They will uplift my next level generation because this is a generational shift. And this generational shift we'll see after 10 years, not today. And whatever the investment have been happened between 2010 to 2022, they are seeing the positive outcomes in this decade. Now that this decade will see the next decade, these are all the investments are happening. That's how. So You can't influence government. Only one person which I heard influenced government is Zomato founder has invested money to influence PMO, to influence SEBI, to accept loss-making company to be listed on stock market. To get that regulations, he has fought for 3.5 years. And he is the first one to get into the stock market if you go and check. Without profit, with the loss, he went and listed. That's what he was able to do. But other people not has done much of inflation change. It is very difficult to do government. Until unless this change is huge positive for the economy and it will have a positive impact outside.
Hello.
Okay, one last question.
I want to
Okay.
add to, sorry.
Yeah. So, I think I'd want to add to what Sir just mentioned. See, usually when we talk about government, we always think that they're very, far off. There's a huge, difference between us and, where are we and where is the government. It's like but I think I used to also think like that once upon a time. Maybe a few years back, I would have been speaking differently. But today, I speak very differently because, we have been working extensively with the government. So, Mitti Cafe is present inside the Supreme Court of India. It is present inside the Rashtrapati Bhavan. It is, again, we've had government representatives and today we are present inside high courts across the country. And where we are, when a judge comes into a Mitti Cafe, and he absolutely sees visibly what is possible, and then there are judgments around inclusion, disability rights. Somewhere or the other, you might assume that it might get affected. Now, how did we get to that point? What I'd say is that there are enough and more officers in this country. While we say there is red tapeism and all of that, but enough and more officers. If you really want to go and speak to them, I won't say that the first approach may work. It took us months, to get the headway into a Rashtrapati Bhavan, but it did happen. Just a normal chat GPT question that can a president of India inaugurate a cafe? Can a Chief Justice of India, so both Chief Justices, including Justice Suryakant, inaugurated our cafe just, a month back at Kolkata High Court. Is it possible? Is it possible that the Prime Minister of India will come into a cafe? So logically, and even chat GPT will tell you, no, I mean, the likelihood of it is, point whatever percent, well, next to impossible. But things are possible if you are adamant, if you are consistent, and if what you're wanting to do has some sense. There are intelligent people out there and they want good ideas. In fact, I started my journey, I was working when I was in college. My final semester, I decided I will take a sabbatical. And 1 year, I decided to work with the government of Andhra Pradesh when the secretariat was at Hyderabad. I was working with the chief secretary. So there are opportunities like that have come up now, like fellowships, etc., that you all can absolutely leverage. And even reaching out to people, you will be surprised to see how many people will want to talk to you.
And one more thing, if government doing it, let's say what she did, right? Differently abled people, you want to empower them. If government want to come up with a policy, they have fund to create 1,000 Mitti cafes, but they cannot find within their officers 1,000 alinas, right? So you need somebody like them passionate about the problem to be able to sticking with it and solving it. That is where government fails, right? Yeah.
So, my question is to Amit sir. Sir, returns and reverse supply were long seen as operational issues rather than strategic ones. So, how did you identify that ignored area, and how can founders do that and build a business around it?
Okay. See, let me tell you something about entrepreneurship. What you start with, you never end with that. So it's not that we identified something and just created a solution. We started small with a small view at the company that anybody who has assets, they have to dispose them. That was the first idea. When we started that, but we didn't want to be traders, so we started a platform. We wanted to use tech, to solve that problem. So we created a bidding platform where one side we got buyers, one side we got sellers. Then the next step came, buyers said, no, we don't look at, buy these things like that. We need validation, we need to see. We said, okay, I'll give it to you online. Then came our second IP where we started a grading tool, grading, putting information. Then, the next step came when our sellers, like Amazon, Flipkarts came that, oh, this material, let me claim insurance on it. I said, you never did that. So they said that we were not grading earlier, so we didn't know that we can claim insurance or we can give it back to brand because there is a manufacturing defect. So my point is, it's not a one solution like that you can say we identified it. It's a need. It's a business. Like Ashwin said in the morning, you have to see where the bug goes, and anticipate it. We saw it will be a need created for that. So that's how you solve. We still have many challenges. Believe me, it's not all hunky dory. Okay, now everything is solved for. There are no challenges. In fact, while I've been sitting here, I've got at least 3 calls, which I have to see why from my logistics team. So they will always be, but you have to take your best foot forward. You have to plan your team. And as Alina said just now, that you need to find the right guys for the right job. It's not, so what we have done is I have hired people who are smarter in that area, who have experience in that area. So that's how you build a team with you, you identify problems, and no matter how old, I'm telling you, even Flipkart or even Amazon today, if after so many years of existence, will have challenges they still work on. So you will keep finding that. So no, golden parachute or some God sent solution for anything. You have to keep working on it and do your best.
Thank you, sir.
I had a question for Priya ma'am. Ma'am, based on my understanding, the buy now, pay later model works very smoothly in the US. So, what, according to you, could be the reasons for the regulatory differences in the two countries?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think Indian financial services um, is relatively evolving to where the Western world is. So we are a little bit, actually in some respects we are very ahead. So UPI we are very very ahead. We are actually in the best in the world in terms of UPI. But when with regards to the other sort of financial services, credit, insurance, we are a little bit behind. And usually what happens in a highly regulated sector like financial services is that innovation actually comes first, and then the regulator, sees how the market is behaving and what's happening, and then the regulation comes in. Actually, even in the US, in Europe, everywhere else, there's been regulation that works in the same manner with financial services. It's just that in India, around COVID, there were too many things that happened around digital lending. Too many players got into it. Because our financial digital infrastructure has improved so much that at one point in time, anyone and everyone could get into lending. And that's when we started having a lot of bad actors, and there was a lot of unregulated activity also that was going on. And that is why suddenly the regulator sort of came into action, and literally every day they were coming up with regulations. So I feel like in India we were a little bit delayed in terms of how we were looking at digital lending. I think pre-COVID, actually, if you spoke to the banks, they didn't consider digital lending or even UPI as something that they wanted to invest in. And then COVID came and suddenly everything had to be digital, and that's when everything accelerated, and they were all sort of caught, a bit behind. So I think what has happened is that the pace of regulation has had to change dramatically, and there's been a lot of change. My view is that yes, that change, I wish that it wasn't so knee-jerk and it wasn't so sudden, because that definitely created a lot of issues in the market. Investor sentiment soured for especially a lot of fintech companies, and as a founder, obviously we had to bear the brunt of it. But yeah, having said that, I think in the long run it's all fine. So if you're the regulator, your main job is to ensure that deposits are safe, that people understand the implications of lending. Financial services should also always be sold responsibly. So because not everyone understands what a financial product is. So everywhere in the world, the concepts around financial regulation are actually the same. It's just that here we just had a very rapid change and now it's kind of settling down. So, but change is happening all the time in finance. In the US as well, there's change, and we saw how the Silicon Valley Bank situation happened, and Credit Suisse happened, and all of that. So there's always a lot of things that keep going on, and regulators around the world have to be on top of it. And as founders, you always know that if you're building in fintech or financial services, there is one stakeholder that you have, which is the regulator, and you always have to kind of think ahead in terms of what the regulator might do and what is the way, what are the first principles thinking that the regulator applies. And that first principles thinking is always about safeguarding the consumer interest. But yeah, no one can predict the pace of change and when that change might happen. It might happen when you're fundraising and then your term sheet is gone. So, which kind of happened in our case. But yeah, that's just some of the things that happen to you in the life of a startup. So that's it.
Okay, this was an amazing session. I hope all of your questions were answered, and you will get an opportunity to talk to the guests later in the foyer. So, as we come to the conclusion of Epicenter 2026, it's truly fulfilling to look back at a day shaped by meaningful conversations, honest reflections, and powerful ideas. A heartfelt thank you to all our speakers and panelists for sharing not just your success stories, but the real thinking, decisions, and experiences behind them. Your insights on risk, resilience, inclusion, and long term value creation have given us lessons that go far beyond today. I would also like to sincerely thank our moderators for guiding these conversations so thoughtfully, and our audience for your curiosity, questions, and energy throughout the day. Epicenter is what it is because of the people sitting in the room today, and your engagement truly brought the event to life. On behalf of EPIC, IIMV FIELD and IIM Visakhapatnam, we would now like to call upon Mr. Shamim Javed sir to present a small token of our appreciation to all our speakers as a gesture of gratitude for your time and your valuable contribution to Epicenter 2026. Okay.
I think you need to receive with them. Thank you so much for coming. उसके बाद थोड़ा गर्म हो जाता है जी थैंक यू आपको सुबह मैंने बहुत बताया थैंक यू सो मच we connect we get forward and we'll make something big out of this thank you so much
Okay, sir, may I now request all our guests and speakers to kindly rise for a group photograph.
So, we would like Professor Jain to join us on the stage as well. Funny sir as well. Field team.
Thank you for the audience who is still sitting.
We would like to call. We would like to call Vaibhav, our senior partner, to present a memento to Mr. Shamim Javed sir. We would also like to present it to Jain sir. So we'd like to call the field team, EPIC team, and all the guests and speakers for the group photograph. Volunteers as well. More lights on the stage, please. There's no one.
Thank you everyone for joining us. We would sincerely like to thank IIMV Field team, Javed sir, Jayan sir, and our EPIC team, as well as all the audiences, startups, students, investors who came here, and to our volunteers who made this event a successful, connection, a summit, or whatever you call. But for us, it was a connection which we built here, and we are looking forward to take it afterwards. Thank you all for joining us. Looking forward to seeing such great events in upcoming years. Thank you so much. Let's have a picture together. Okay. Yes, and high tea is there in the foyer area. There are also IMV branded goodies available. So those who wish to buy it, they can buy it from there. And high tea is there in the foyer area. Please have the snacks and connect within yourself. We'll be also joining you within few minutes.
Thank you once again, and we look forward to welcoming back for you back for another inspiring edition of Epicenter next year. Thank you all. All those uh, all those who participated in the games, thank you so much for participating in them. And people who won them, please come towards the backstage area.
Uh, Hello everyone. Volunteers and Epic team, please stay here in the auditorium.